Welcome everybody to the July 12th, 2021 regular meeting of the Hillsborough County City-County Planning Commission. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation is encouraged. To minimize feedback in the audio, all participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should raise their hand or unmute themselves and turn on their camera to indicate they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. That's planner@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I'll ask Commissioner Marino to lead us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today with praise for your mighty power and guidance. We thank you for this day and thank you too for the many blessings in our lives, for our great country and for the opportunity to live in freedom. We ask your blessings on our leaders, and we ask that you give each one of us here today the wisdom to make the right choices so that our decisions will be in the best interests of the people of Hillsborough County. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Marino. The next item, with that, I will ask the clerk to do a roll call.
Bernstein.
Here.
Cardenas.
Here.
Dickerson.
Renee Kamen for Amber Dickerson.
Dix.
Here.
Dowdy.
Here.
Handy.
Here.
Kress. Commissioner Kress. Linko. Commissioner Linko. Moreno.
Here.
Powell.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Joseph.
Here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. All right, with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Zornita for one item of business before we get started.
Sure. Good afternoon, commissioners. So for quite some time since the pandemic started, we converted to...
I'm sorry, Ms. Ornita, I'm not able to hear you for the recording.
I've got the mic on. Can you hear me?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Is this mic working? I can hear myself. Can you hear me up here?
Good afternoon, Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. This feels very formal. So the issue that I wanted to bring to you all is the change in circumstances in our meetings and how they are conducted, and Mr. Robin will probably want to add some comments to this as well. Over the last year and a half now, we've converted to all virtual meetings, then to hybrid meetings where we only had or had the requirement to only have an in-person quorum. And that was partly because of the room configurations and requirements of the BOCC and their facilities, but also enabled because of the governor's executive order about an emergency. And so that executive order, as I understand it, expired at the end of June. So we are now back in the situation where we are operating as we were pre-March of 2020, which means that typical attendance for these meetings in order to vote needs to be in person. The reason I'm addressing this now is because two things that we need to address. One, Commissioner Kress contacted me back in April and said she was going to be out of town for the July meetings. It was around the time we were setting up the July 19th being an additional meeting. She made me aware of that. I said, no problem. I think you'll be able to participate virtually. So she planned accordingly based on that. And she, I believe, is listening in on YouTube right now, but is not going to be able to attend the public hearing tonight, but does want to be able to vote at the public hearing next week based on the circumstances that we had anticipated that she would be able to do that. We did not know that the executive order would expire. So that's one issue that we need to deal with, and I believe it's Mr. Robbins' counsel that we have you all vote to allow Commissioner Kress to vote in the meeting next week. Then today, Commissioner Handy contacted me that she had a dental emergency. She did not know that she could not participate virtually and vote this evening, so she said, I would like to participate virtually. And I said, oh, we have this change in conditions. Again, Mr. Robbins' counsel has been that it would be proper for you all to take an action to allow her to vote in today's regular meeting on the minutes. That's the only action item today in the regular meeting, and then tonight in the public hearing. Again, then going forward, the expectation would be you have to be present at the meetings to vote. If you can't be present, you can participate virtually, but you would not be able to have your vote counted. So that is, at this point, I think that's all I have to say. I'll ask if Tracy has anything he would like to add.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to be back in person. Melissa and I had intended to bring the board back up to speed on some of these events, and then these requests have come in to boot. As I think most of you will recall, absentee participation or participation through conference calling and interactive communications is permissible, but it's under very limited circumstances. It's under what the Attorney General classifies as extraordinary circumstances, not one where you're simply out of town on vacation or on business and you can't attend, but something that's more extraordinary than that. The genesis of all this originally started with health-related things, and at least one of the requests this afternoon is I think Ms. Handy had something unexpected today that was health-related, and her doctor's appointment prevented her from being able to be here in time for the meeting, so she's made a request. Ms. Kress, as Melissa indicated, previously made arrangements thinking that the governor's order was going to be in place, scheduled some out of town event, and had expressed the desire to attend the meeting and be here virtually. I think both of these circumstances qualify under the circumstance for the board to make that decision. But it is a decision that's made on a meeting-by-meeting basis based on the request of the individual commissioner, demonstrating some unusual or extraordinary circumstance that would justify that. And the process is that the board would consider that at the beginning of the meeting and then vote on it to allow that commissioner to participate and vote or not, if the board in its best judgment determined that it didn't seem to fit the extraordinary circumstance classification. So it was timely, as it happens, for us to bring this to you this evening. I think as far as Commissioner Kress is concerned, if she's simply going to monitor the meeting by phone today, that there's no action that needs to be taken. I do understand that she will make that request next week, because this,
We can't vote on that.
no, you can't vote on it today, but I wanted to let the board know it'll be coming back to you at the beginning of the next meeting, because she had planned to be out of town during the course of these two particular meetings. So Commissioner Handy's request, in my view, is justifiable, and she's asking that she be allowed to participate in the decision-making here today at the regular meeting and at the public hearing this evening. So a motion by members of the board to authorize that would be appropriate.
Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, at this time I'd like to make a motion, if I may, and I would frame the motion as follows. I would move that we vote in favor of Commissioner Handy's opportunity to participate fully in today's sessions due to the extraordinary circumstances confronting her.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Bernstein to allow Commissioner Handy to participate electronically.
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Dix. Any
Right, and I had
comments?
a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
I'm going to ask Melissa to please send to us tomorrow or the next day the updated schedule, because our calendar, because of, the TV stuff, I mean, it's changed so many times. Used to be, it was always second Monday, and I could pretty well plan by that, except we had a couple times we had Veterans Day, remember that, right? So, but now it's all squirrely between now and the end of the year. And I think, and I didn't bring it with me, but I think that I have a conflict with something coming up, and I can't remember if it's August, September, but somewhere.
Okay.
And in my mind, I was anticipating, participating remotely. Because you've done such a wonderful job, Mr. Chairman. You've handled that really, really well. Always, notice who was needed to talk and whatnot. So anyway, in light of that, if you would, please send that to me, because I want to be able to give you, advance warning, because you're going to need a quorum, right?
Yes.
And,
yes.
as we've seen from all of those affordable housing meetings that Mr. Powell keeps going to when they don't show up, I mean, it's a waste of his time when he shows up and they don't, you can't have a quorum. So I wouldn't want to cause that to, anybody. So please do that.
I appreciate that. Yes, I'll send that out to all the commissioners tomorrow. We are working with HTV on getting us back over the next couple of months to the 18th floor, and hopefully be able to get back to the second Monday schedule.
And I, for one, have always been adamant about wanting to do these virtually and, to do social distancing and whatnot. I mean, I'm not asking your vaccination status, but, I've been vaccinated, so you're not going to get it from me. So I feel I'm fine going back up to the 18th floor if we can have some continuity to our meetings and our meeting dates. And I think that's good, not just for us, but it's good, it's good for the public as well.
Sure.
So anyway, if you could
Understood.
do that, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
All right, so that's a motion by Commissioner, go ahead.
No, go ahead with your
Mr.
motion.
Robles.
I just wanted to make one other comment.
Oh, I was just going to ask for comments after the motion was declared again, so you can go ahead with the comments.
Okay. Well, it's not related to the motion. I simply wanted to point out that what Commissioner Dix says is absolutely correct. Regardless of virtual attendance, we are required to have a physical quorum at the meeting in order to hold one. So that doesn't change that requirement. The virtual attendance does not qualify for that. Thank you.
And that's going forward, wait, before you leave, that's going forward, right? Tonight, it does qualify for that.
Well, it doesn't qualify for quorum.
Quorum, sorry, quorum, okay. The
Right.
voting, it's the voting.
Voting, we find.
Okay.
Thank you.
And going forward, we're going to make sure that this doesn't happen again with the whole voting, or how does that work going forward?
Well, there may be subsequent requests by individual members who have circumstances. Either they could be health concerns or they could be other things. This could come back before the board again. It has on occasion in the past. It's been some time. But because of the circumstances of the last 18 months, we kind of knew this was going to eventually rear its head. And so that's, you're simply seeing the consequences of the timing and the rescission of the governor's order.
Okay. All right. Was there any more discussion from the commissioners? Commissioner Dix?
I just was laughing at our attorney, Mr. Robin, because it was cracking me up. We're going to insist on meeting, in person, because the governor requires it. We're going to insist on meeting in person, and to heck with social distancing, and the backdrop behind him, the entire backdrop says, reserved for social distancing, reserved for social. Nobody can get in, but we're here. I mean, it makes logical sense, doesn't it? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Dix. Are there any more comments from the commissioners on this motion? So we have a motion to allow Commissioner Handy to vote tonight with us virtually, and a second by Commissioner Dix. Seeing.
Hi, this is Commissioner Handy.
Commissioner Handy, yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, thank you for being willing to grant this request. As I told Melissa earlier today, I was not aware of what happened at the end of the month requiring in person. And she and I also discussed that this is a state law, which I understand. However, I just would like to quickly comment, now that I've been involved in this group, and I was also, or am also on the MPO Citizens Advisory Committee, I'm realizing that it's not easy for people in, number one, rural areas to come in and appear in person, and number two, for working people that maybe don't have the flexibility that some of us enjoy. So I think that now that we know that we can do it virtually, it seems like it would really increase the diversity of our boards and our memberships if we would allow some flexibility in this regard. Again, I realize it's a state law, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I think it would be something worth pursuing, so that we could have a little bit, other folks would have more access to these types of boards and meetings and memberships. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Handy. Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess it's more of a point of order question. Since each hearing is technically different, do we have to approve this 3 times, or, do we have to make a motion before each hearing?
I think the best practice would be to do it at the beginning of the public hearing, of each public hearing.
Okay. But we have to vote on the minutes at this regular meeting also. So, okay, so do it now and then again at the public, okay. Oh, yeah, they got to get you on the record.
Excuse me. Yes, to answer your question, the better practice would be to do it at the beginning of each one of the meetings as they're opened.
Okay. All right. All right. Was there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? All right. Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. I will ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Linkos? Commissioner Linkos? Moreno?
Yes.
Howell?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried, 9-0.
Thank you. All right. So with that out of the way, on to, I guess I should remind the clerk about that also. Yeah, Commissioner Kress isn't voting in these meetings, so, I mean, you called her name, so just be aware of that as we go forward with this. I mean, I'll be looking for it on the paperwork too, but just saying. All right, so on
Correction,
to.
the vote will be, since she is not voting, the vote will be 8-0, sir.
Thank you. All right. All right. Now that that's over, moving on to regular business, the next item is the approval of minutes for the following meetings. The regular meeting for June 15th and the public hearings on City of Tampa and City of Temple Terrace plan amendments, June 15th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve? Commissioner Dowdy.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd move approval of the minutes for the meetings as stated.
All right. Motion to approve by Commissioner Dowdy, a second by Commissioner Marino. Is there any more discussion on this item from the commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to do a roll call vote.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Dix,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Handy,
Yes.
Linkos, Moreno,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carried, 8-0.
Thank you. All right. Is there any public input for items, non-action items on the agenda? Nope. All right. Seeing a head shake, no. We will move on to our briefings and presentations. And the first one will be TACPA 2112, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Robles Park. And the presenter will be Danny Collins.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Afternoon, this is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. I will be presenting on behalf of Jennifer Malone, who's currently out of the office. This is Comprehensive Plan Amendment 2112. Subject site is located within the Central Tampa Planning District. It's within the Tampa Heights Urban Village, and more specifically, it's within the Tampa Heights neighborhood. It's shown here on our locational map. This is an aerial map of the subject site and surrounding properties. You'll see the subject site's outlined in this black color. It's just north of East Emily Street and east of North Florida Avenue. Interstate 275 is just to the east. And then Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard is a couple blocks to the north. Quick background, this is a privately initiated amendment. It's approximately 30 acres. The request is to change the future land use from residential 35 designation to the community mixed use 35 future land use designation. Here's the adopted future land use map. It's currently under the residential 35 future land use designation. There is residential 20 just to the north and east of the subject site. There's some CMU 35 also to the east. To the south, you have residential 10. And then to the west of the site along North Florida Avenue, you have predominantly CC 35 and some public, semi-public uses. And then further to the west is residential 10. Here's the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under that community mixed use 35 future land use designation. Currently under the residential 35 designation, the site can be considered for 1,051 dwelling units or just over 78,000 square feet of non-residential development. As proposed under the CMU 35 designation, it would allow the same density, but it would increase the square footage of non-residential or residential development on the subject site under that CMU 35 designation. And it would also allow for the consideration of commercial uses in the CMU 35. This concludes this briefing for PACPA 2112. Are there any questions?
Seeing no questions from the commissioners, we will thank you for the presentation, and we will move on to our next one. All right, TACPA 21-13, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment 3541 North Boulevard, and the presenter is Nathan Smiley.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Nathan Smiley. I'll be covering Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment 2113, located at 3541 North Boulevard. The general location of the subject site is in Central Tampa Planning District, located in Tampa Heights Urban Village and the Tampa Heights neighborhood. This is an aerial map of the subject site. The subject site is privately initiated, small scale, approximately 1.56 acres, and you're looking to change it from public, semi-public to residential 20. On the adopted future land use map, it shows the subject site under public, semi-public. To the east of the subject site, we have Woodlawn Cemetery as public, semi-public. To the west, on North Boulevard, we have residential 20. Further down on North Boulevard, we have some suburban mixed use. To the south, we also have a recreational open space for Plymouth Playground. To the north, we have recreational open space for Calvin Taylor Park. And all at the top on West Martin Luther King Boulevard, we have community mixed use along with community commercial 35. Under proposed future land use map, it shows the subject site under the new land use, residential 20. Impacts, maximum potential intensity and density, existing, maximum not defined, and potential 31 dwelling units with 33,976 square feet, non-residential. The proposed plan amendment would allow redevelopment of the site for residential uses, and your proposed non-residential uses will be required to meet commercial locational criteria. This concludes 2113. Any questions?
All right, I see questions from Commissioners Marino.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. This is currently part of Woodlawn Cemetery, is that correct?
No. It's a private parcel. It's adjacent to Woodlawn Cemetery.
Okay, can you repeat that one more time? It's a private parcel adjacent to it?
Yes, on the west side.
Okay, so, all right, so then on the west side of North Boulevard, so it's not within that like brick cemetery fencing that currently fronts North Boulevard. No, I'm sorry, hang on. Okay, never mind. I think I have my numbers mixed up. I apologize.
That's fine.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Marino. Commissioner Powell, Commissioner Dix, are you first?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand the mechanics of what you were describing. there's no action tonight, but there will be, and I'm just trying to understand the logic behind it. I mean, it's government, quasi-government, it's, as Mr. Marino was pointing out, it's adjacent to a cemetery. The whole block is kind of set aside for, I don't know. And then there is the request to make it residential 20, which is double the capacity of, or double the density of everything even nearby. Is there any comment? I was really expecting in the presentation to hear some kind of rationale for wanting, for the logic behind this, other than just because it makes sense to build, I guess.
So, Commissioner Dix, I can chime in. This is Danny Collins with the Planning Commission staff. This parcel is currently under the public, semi-public designation. It is privately owned. It's not owned by the city. It's separate from Woodlawn Cemetery to the east. And then also that parcel to the south, the northeast corner of Plymouth and North Boulevard is also private. So it is currently not owned by the city, but it does have a public, semi-public future land use designation. I believe the applicant came in and is requesting the residential 35. It is along North Boulevard, so I think they see a potential there for residential. The applicant did submit a letter stating there was a survey that was done that there's no burial grounds on the site. That's kind of how this amendment came about. I don't believe the applicant is present on the line.
And just to follow up, and perhaps in all fairness to you, you haven't done the research to find out, but it just seems odd that a private property would be already designated with a land use of public, quasi-public.
I've done a couple of, I've done a number of the park amendments, and actually I found just through researching, because I did the Woodlawn Cemetery plan amendment just to the east, to the recreation open space. And there are several there are several properties, especially within this little, or this rectangular box that are privately owned, but they're, the future land use is recognized under that public, semi-public designation. So, like I said, that there's that one to the south, and then there's these two just to the north as well that are privately owned under that public, semi-public designation.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Dix. Go to Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Collins, do you know, sort of to echo what Commissioner Dix was chiming in on, this was not part of one of the recent properties that we've designated public, quasi-public, because I know we've been doing that a lot over the last year, and it seems like this might have been one of the properties that, we gave this designation to, and I thought the whole purpose, if I recall, and the intent behind this land use designation was so that they would not go back to residential properties.
Yeah, so actually, like I said, it's kind of a irregular shape, the Woodlawn Cemetery. When we originally looked at, when we were doing the park amendment for the recreation open space for the Woodlawn Cemetery, we looked at all the parcels within that blue that are under that public, semi-public, because we wanted to see if they were if they were owned by the city, and they weren't. So, drawing a blank, but we couldn't include those within that recreation open space designation. Like this parcel, the subject parcel for 2113 wasn't included in the request for the Woodlawn Cemetery plan amendment because it was privately, wasn't publicly owned. So that answers your question.
I mean, No, but I guess one of the things maybe once this does come back up to us, if someone will be able to tell us how long that this parcel has been under this, designation and how it got there. I know that's going to be a question I'm going to have when it comes back to us. So if we could have that information available, that would be great.
Okay, we'll look into that before the Planning Commission meeting in August.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Marino, did you have some?
Thank you. And sorry for the follow-up. I was getting confused there because this parcel is on the east side North Boulevard. The physical address is 3541 North Boulevard, North Boulevard. The property type is listed as a cemetery. And I understand the comment that there was a survey done, a ground radar survey done, and this does appear to be within that brick wall that is around that cemetery. Anyone who drives on North Boulevard knows that portion. I guess we can't really do anything at this meeting, but I'm dumbfounded that something like this is coming to us, and that there's even a possibility of converting this from, what is essentially, public, quasi-public to anything beyond as it is listed in the property appraiser's book as cemetery. So I just want to make that comment because I was confused by which side of the street was on. Because like I said, I'm never mind. I'm dumbfounded.
Thank you, Commissioner Marino. Commissioner Cardenas, yes.
So, I guess chain of ownership on this was this. It seems like it was previously somebody that owned a cemetery, and now they're trying to get out of the business and go into residential real estate to a certain extent. Not sure, but it would be good to get some clarification on that.
From the applicant, yeah. Hear something when this comes, at least when it comes back from the applicant on it. Ms. Ornita, did you have some?
We're going to give this a whirl and see if they can hear me upstairs.
Okay.
Oh, darn it. Okay.
It's okay. You're going to have to raise your hand anyway because I can't see the light for your mic down there, so.
Okay. I was just going to comment a couple of things. One, we will definitely make note of all of these questions and communicate them to the applicant if they're not watching the meeting today. As well, we can talk to the property appraiser's office about the questions about how it is classified. I did want to simply respond that it's not uncommon for us to find properties given as large as the city and the county are that are designated public, quasi-public, but are actually in private ownership. And so that is something that does occur from time to time, and we try to rectify that. When the original comprehensive plan maps were drawn, they were literally drawn by hand, and they tried to follow major boundaries when they were designating things in different land use categories. So sometimes that has led to either things being captured or little Scrivener type errors like this. But understanding the concerns specifically about the proximity and the location of the cemetery and that it's classified that in the existing land use is a big concern that we will be looking into.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Was there any more comments or discussion from the commissioners, questions on this item? All right. Seeing none, I will thank you, Mr. Smiley, for the presentation, and we will move on to our next item, TACPA 2114, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment 2111 North Albany Avenue, and the presenter is Danny Collins.
Mr. Collins, you're muted.
Here we go. This is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. Our next amendment is TACPA 2114. The subject site is located within the Central Tampa Planning District. It's within the Old West Tampa neighborhood, and it's also within the West Tampa National Historic District, and it is shown here on our locational map. Here is an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. You'll see the subject site. It's outlined in this black color. It's at the northeast corner of North Albany Avenue and West Walnut Street. You'll see there's presently a cigar factory on the subject site, which is considered a contributing structure, and any request would need to go to the appropriate board. The surrounding area is predominantly residential. To the north, you'll see residential, and also to the east and south, there are some non-residential uses along North Albany Avenue. And there are a couple cigar factories located within a couple blocks to the north of the subject site. Just a quick background of the request. This is privately initiated. It's a small scale amendment. Subject site is approximately 1.33 acres. Currently, the subject site has 2 future land use designations. About half the site is presently under the light industrial designation, and then the remainder of the site's within the residential 35 future land use designation. The applicant is requesting to bring the entire site under that residential 35 future land use designation. Here's the adopted future land use map. You'll see the southeast corner of North Albany Avenue and West Pine Street is recognized under the light industrial category. It's shown in this gray color. The eastern portion of the site is within the residential 35, and then the southern portion of the site is also within the residential 35. There is a presence of residential 35 along North Albany Avenue, and also to the northeast and south of the subject site. It transitions to residential 20 as you move south along North Albany Avenue. Here's the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under that residential 35 future land use designation. Currently, the subject site under the light industrial and residential 35 future land use designation can be considered for 23 dwelling units, or just over 61,000 square feet of non-residential uses. As proposed under the residential 35 across the entire site, the subject site can be considered for 46 dwelling units, or 34,759 square feet of non-residential development. So this request would allow for additional density on the subject site, but would remove the potential of industrial uses on the portions of the site designated light industrial. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Are there any comments, discussion, or questions from the commissioners? All right, seeing none and seeing no hands online, I will thank you for the presentation, and we will move on to our next item, TACPA 21-15, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, Davis Islands Apex Park, and the presenter is, again, Mr. Danny Collins.
This is Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. Our next 4 amendments are our next batch of park amendments, and those are 2115 through 2118. The next 4 amendments, we'll be looking at Davis Islands Apex Park, the Kid Mason Center, and then we'll move down to South Tampa for Friendship Park, and then further south Port Tampa Park. Just a quick background, these are publicly initiated by Tampa City Council to recognize existing City of Tampa parks. Each park is listed on City of Tampa's dedicated park list, and all sites would be recognized through the Recreation Open Space Future Land Use designation. Our first park is Davis Islands Apex Park. It's within the Central Tampa Planning District. It's within the Davis Islands neighborhood, and it's also within Davis Islands Urban Village. Here is an aerial map of the subject site. It's just south of the intersection of Davis Boulevard and East Davis Boulevard. There are non-residential uses currently along East Davis Boulevard, and there are some residential uses just to the south and west of the subject site. Here's the adopted future land use map. Currently, the subject site has 2 future land uses. A majority of the subject sites recognized under the residential 35 designation, and then the southern portion of the site is recognized under the residential 10 designation. Here's the proposed future land use map, recognizing the entire site under that recreation open space designation. This would remove potential of 13 dwelling units or 11,000 square feet of non-residential development from the subject site. Are there any questions?
Not seeing any. Please continue, Mr. Collins.
Our next amendment is TACPA 2116. It's the Kid Mason Community Center. It's in the Central Tampa Planning District, and it's within the Tampa Downtown Partnership neighborhood. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. It's on the northeast corner of East Harrison Street and North Jefferson Street. It's just to the west of the Encore apartment development. This is the adopted future land use map. Currently, the subject site is under the Central Business District future land use designation. There is recreation open space along on the east side of North Orange Avenue and then directly to the west of the site. Here's the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under the recreation open space designation. Currently under the CBD, the maximums are not defined. Those are defined at the time of permitting. As proposed, this under the recreation open space, it would remove any potential of residential and non-residential from the subject site. And this concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
I am not seeing any lights in the room or hands online, so please continue again, Mr. Collins.
Our next part, or the remaining 2 amendments, I'm going to turn over Nathan Smiley, who will be presenting. He is an intern, or a fellow from the University of South Florida, so he'll be presenting the following 2 amendments.
Hello, this is Nathan Smiley. I'll be going over 2117, Marcellino Chelo Huerta Jr. Friendship Park, located South Tampa Planning District in the Virginia Park neighborhood. This is the aerial photo of the subject site. It's the south of West Bay to Bay Boulevard and east of St. Louis Avenue, as well as north of West Santiago Street. This is the adopted future land use map of the subject site. We have residential 10 to the south and east, as well as to the north. On the west Bay to Bay Boulevard, we have community mixed use 35, and further north we have residential 6. The proposed future land use map shows the subject site in recreational open space. For impacts, maximum potential intensity density, existing is 9 units and 13,873 square feet of non-residential, and the potential is not applicable. Questions?
Not seeing any lights in the room or hands coming up on the WebEx. Please continue, Mr. Smiley.
2118 is covering Port Tampa Park, located in South Tampa Planning District in Port Tampa City neighborhood. This is the aerial photo of the park. It'll be south of West McCoy Street, north of West Lancaster Street. On the adopted future land use map, it shows the park in the recreational open space. There is a small sliver on the right upper hand side next to the park that's under residential 10, with residential 10 parcels to north and south of it. We also have TU 24 to the north, and Community Commercial 35 to the west, with Residential 20 further west. Under the proposed future land use map, it shows the sliver that was Residential 10, now under recreational open space, putting the entire subject site within the recreational open space land use. For impacts, max potential intensity and density, existing is 1 unit and 1,372 square feet non-residential with potential not applicable. Questions?
All right, not seeing any lights on in the room or hands on the WebEx. Well, thank you for the presentation, Mr. Smiley and Mr. Collins. And we will move on to our next item of business. Item number 4 is our Executive Director's Report. Presenter is Melissa Zornita.
Good afternoon, Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. Sharon sent out my Executive Director's Report end of last week. Much of it, as you could see on the schedule, related to briefings and meetings related to the RP2 and Waimama projects that will be coming before your hearing next week. That will be on Monday at 6 p.m. We'll have dinner upstairs probably about 5 o'clock beforehand for those who want to join. If you are interested in receiving a briefing from staff before Monday's meeting and haven't scheduled it already, please let me know and we'll get that scheduled this week. A couple other things that I wanted to mention. The building is returning to more in-person services. Downstairs, there's a lot more free flow of customers up to the 18th floor. Our staff is returning to the floor. They're scheduled several days a week so that we ensure that we have coverage, but we are still permitting some level of telecommuting as they're able and their schedule with in-person meetings permits. That is consistent with how we've seen a number of the county departments handle the return to office, that the telecommuting has worked pretty well for some of our activities, but we do need to be in person for others. One other item that I wanted to make you all aware of, because this is something that may be before you at your August public hearing, and normally we would have a briefing before we bring something to you at a public hearing. There is a provision changed in state law this legislative session requiring a private property rights element be added to the comprehensive plan. It is basically the statute outlines a series of 4 bullets that that the element needs to be comprised of. So it's not like an element like you think of, like we saw One Water, or this afternoon or this evening we're gonna have coastal management. It's not that extensive of an element, but it is something that is being required. When it was working through the legislative session, Diane Sauls, our legislative liaison, alerted me to it. We took a look at the language. The primary concern that I had at that time was that the bill was structured such that it said that this language had to be in there before you adopted any plan amendments after July 1st. So that Diane worked successfully with the sponsor of the bill to change that language from adopted to it has to be in place before you adopt any amendments that are initiated after July 1st. Seemed like a good compromise, gave us a little bit more time to be able to run this text amendment concurrent with any amendments that we had starting July 1st. We have been advised in the last couple of days by the Department of Economic Opportunity that their interpretation of the word initiated is different than the dictionary definition of initiated. Their interpretation of initiated is that it has to have had the local planning agency meaning you all, have to have had your public hearing before July 1st. The dictionary definition of initiated is the beginning of something, which I would say is when something is filed, not when it comes to your hearing, because there, as you know, there's several months of work that staff is doing between when something is filed and it arrives at you all for a public hearing. What that interpretation has the potential to do is to cause all of the amendments that are scheduled for tonight, for August, to be delayed until this element is adopted. So since we have the element drafted, Mark Hudson's been working on this for about the last month because we anticipated the governor signing this legislation. We may be in the position where we need to bring that to you for a public hearing in August so that we can minimize the amount of delay to other items. Some of our amendments, like the amendments you will hear next week, had their first public hearing on RP2 and Waimama with you all in January. So they are not impacted by this delay, but the ones that their first public hearing with you all are tonight or are next month or are scheduled for September, all potentially would be delayed. So we are, Mr. Robbins, going to help me craft some arguments with DEO about our different interpretation of the word initiated. I don't know that we'll be successful in that, and so therefore I just wanted to apprise you all of this. What we will do is later this week send out the draft language that Mr. Hudson has put together in cooperation with some of the attorneys so that you all get a chance to look at that. He worked specifically with Ken Buckman in Plant City on the language. It basically reflects what is required in state law that we put in the comprehensive plan. And so we'll send that out to you all, but I wanted to explain the reason why you might have something brought to your public hearing without a briefing, because that is unusual for us. And it would be require us to suddenly have a public hearing, not just on City of Tampa items next month, but also on something for Plant City, Temple Terrace, and the county to get this moving along. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about that.
All right, Commissioner Dowdy.
Yeah, thanks. Melissa, just pertaining to that subject, is it going to require a special meeting? Is there noticing requirements and stuff that are going to
We can meet the noticing for the August 24th. It's kind of fortuitous that the meeting is a little bit later in the month, so we'll be able to meet the notice.
Thank you. Commissioner Dix.
I'm a lawyer, and I'm so confused by what you said. I don't know that, are we going to be voting on items in the public hearing this evening?
No, yes, we will continue. There's nothing that precludes you all from holding your public hearing or the local government from transmitting it to the state. What, as I understand it, what DEO is holding things up from is being adopted. And so we can continue to have the plan amendments that are scheduled for tonight be heard by you all. They can progress to the county. They just may be delayed at their final adoption.
Or sent back to us for further consideration?
I guess that's always a possibility, but I don't think that would occur simply because of this language needing to be added.
Okay. I don't really have an opinion on that. I trust Tracy to the world, so we're just going to go with it. The other thing is I just want some clarification. Next week's meeting, now see, that was a prime example of what I was talking about earlier, because I thought that next week's meeting was going to be allowed to be virtual. I even got a couple of emails from Sharon, talking about here's what you're going to need to do and so on.
Right.
But now you're I'm not putting that on you. That's not directed towards you. But now I'm understanding that next week, next Monday, is live and in person.
Yes. Unless there's extenuating circumstances, as Mr. Robin described.
Okay. I've got to work through a few hoops. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's from here forward, Commissioner Dix, with the governor's thingamajig or whatever, like going forward, that's what, yeah, we're back.
Yeah, no,
We're
I'm
back.
getting it. I get it, and I get that from the earlier conversation, but that's why I was hoping to get that, here's our schedule, and there's
Yes.
no confusion.
Yes,
Going
I will
forward.
get that
Yeah.
sent out to you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, are there any more comments or questions for Ms. Zornina? All right, feel free to finish up.
That was all I had. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. All right, our next item of business is item number 5, other business, chair's business. I have none. Old business, any old business from the commissioners? Any new business items from the commissioners? Commissioner Dowdy, I see you moving.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I have an item of new business that I'd like to bring to the commission's attention. Back when I was appointed to this board, I was appointed to fill out the remainder of a particular commissioner's term. So my first appointment was a 1-year period, and I've been reappointed to 4-year terms ever since. And the commission has, under normal circumstances, basically, the terms expire and other commissioners are reappointed, and it's flowed pretty smoothly. But over the course of the time that I've been on this board, there's been a couple of commissioners have resigned their term early. There was a period, I think, where we went a while where a couple of commissioners were not reappointed in a timely fashion. And what it seems to me, I mean, we are an independent, or supposed to act as an independent agency, and what it seems to have the situation that appears to have been created is that, like at the end of this year, there will be 4 of our 10 members that need to be reappointed. And in my mind, I mean, we have 2 800-pound gorillas. We have City of Tampa, and we have Hillsborough County, and then we have a couple of 400-pound gorillas in Plant City and Temple Terrace. But it seems logical to me to maintain the independence of the board and continuity, and in order not to have upheaval in this board, that in the perfect world, we would have, I mean, we have 4 county members, we have 4 City of Tampa members, and 1 each from Plant City and Temple Terrace. It seems that it would make sense with 4-year terms that every year we would have 1 City of Tampa and 1 Hillsborough County member up for reappointment. And every other year, we would have either Plant City or Temple Terrace. So it would be 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, 2-3. If you look at the appointments right now, it's 4-1, 4-1, okay? I chatted briefly with Tracy earlier, and he doesn't believe that we can dictate to the member governments when those appointments should be, but I would like to put it before this board that we write a letter and strongly recommend that they reorient those appointments to the 2-3, 2-3, 2-3. From what I can tell, it looks to me like it would require, there are 2 City of Tampa appointments coming up, 1 county, 1 Plant City. It seems to me that if the city did an appointment for a 4-year term and an appointment maybe for either a 1 or a 3-year term, and then the same thing the next time 2 City of Tampas come up, do the same thing, they could get it in order. There are also 2 Hillsborough County appointments that come up in '23, and they would have to do the same thing. I don't necessarily care how they get to it, but I think we should get back to the point of 1 city, 1 county every year coming up for reappointment. So I would like to, however we end up doing it, but I would like to put it out. I would make a motion that we write a letter to our member governments strongly suggesting that they reorient the appointments to get them into that pattern. Plant City and Temple Terrace are just fine, but I think it's for City and City of Tampa and Hillsborough County both. And then I would also like to suggest that Planning Commission staff at least identify, if they don't follow through, that the Planning Commission staff identify each time an appointment comes up that there is a discrepancy in the timing of those things that could create unnecessary upheaval in the workings of this board. That's it.
All right. I will open that long briefing up to discussion from the commissioners. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Dowdy. It's certainly a concept, I think, that merits some discussion, and I wanted to ask a question that I might present to both the Chair and to Ms. Zornita. I should know the answer to this, but I know just in my short term on the Commission, we've had times where we've waited on a municipality, city, county to appoint or reappoint members, and those times we've gone down, I suppose, as low as, I don't know, 7 or 8 members. At those times, what is the rule on quorum? How does it operate? Are we judged against a denominator of total seats or just those that are filled? Tracy, I should have gone to you first. My apologies.
Turn it on.
There you go. Sorry about that. If you have a member who resigns, that seat's vacant. Otherwise, the special act says you serve for 4-year terms or until your successor is appointed. So you got kind of 2 different scenarios, but they're not that hard to figure out. If you have a 10-man board, 10-woman board, where one commissioner resigns, you've got 9 members, so you need a majority of the 9. If you've got a situation where there's a holdover commissioner who's going to stay in the seat until his or her replacement is appointed, you've still got a 10-member board. And so you've got a different majority requirement. In that case, you've got 6 as the majority, 5 in the former circumstance.
So that makes sense, and I don't know if this is a question for you or for others in the room who've been here longer than I, but it seems to me that in the latter case, when you're dealing with a holdover situation, you run the risk of, say, potentially alienating a current board member who may have moved on to other things and is simply waiting maybe for weeks or months at a time for the city or the county, for example, to make a reappointment. I mean, have we encountered those situations before?
I don't know that we have with any regularity. We've had a little bit of lag from times. The last experience that I think Commissioner Dowdy was referring to, we had a little bit longer lag, but it's usually been within a couple of months that the governing body appointed a replacement.
Well, just my only closing point, and I look forward to the input from others who've been, particularly those who've been here longer than I, but I think there's a host of reasons why, you know, your suggestion makes good sense to me personally, but I'd like to see us maybe focus on the concern of the important business that this commission does and the risk that comes into play if even for a week or two, you know, it's disturbed by lack of a quorum or similar challenges. I don't think that's something we want to face, and to the extent we can stagger terms and minimize the likelihood of that, it seems to me it's in the best interest of all the stakeholders involved.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein. Good points. Commissioner Dix.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dowdy, that's a great observation, great motion. It hadn't had a second. I want to second it, number one, with the caveat, if you're willing to accept it, is that rather than it being kind of an open-ended thing to let the cities know we got a problem, I'd love to see staff come up with an optimum solution, and whatever that optimum solution may be. In other words, the city of Tampa needs to pick one person every single year on a rolling basis rather than a couple, here and there. Let's come up with a formula that works and give it to them and let them, peruse it and hopefully adopt it. That seems to kind of make more logical sense, and so that it would, the wheels would all grind together. So if you consider that, then I have also a question you want to respond, then I'll have.
Yeah, actually, I like your suggestion, and I would be interested in accepting the modification, but I'd like to add another wrinkle to it, that if we were asking staff to come up with a solution, that solution happened faster rather than slower.
Yeah, great,
Okay.
super. The other thing is, Melissa, is the Planning Commission proactive in alerting the county, the city, and the county and the three cities that, hey, your person is term's coming to an end, you need to do something? I mean, I'm dear friends with all the folks in Plant City, but I don't know they realize that my term's coming up. They're probably thrilled or something. I don't know, but
I doubt that they're thrilled, but we do alert the appointing authority. The terms that are up at the end of September, so we would probably alert them. If we haven't heard something from them by the end of this month, we would let them know that they need to get on it. Yep. Typically it varies, but most of them advertise for about 30 days, and then that gives them the time in the month of September to make the appointment. But as Tracy has mentioned, the most common occurrence is that they don't take action in September, they take action in October, and for example, you would come to the October meeting until the next person was able to come. So that has happened a couple of times. It's more unusual that we have the big gap that occurred when Commissioner Thrower resigned.
Yeah, got it. Perfect.
Thank you, Commissioner Dix. Commissioner Marino, yes.
Thank you. I agree with where Commissioner Dowdy's going on this, because it's always been curious to me that we don't have term limits. We're appointed by people who have term limits, but we don't ourselves have term limits. So I don't know if that was part of your thinking, but that may be a way to speed that up. But the question I have, and maybe I should know this, but if the comp plan renewal, or if there's a change to the comp plan, full-blown change coming up, then maybe something like this could be timed to that. So then everyone kind of starts at square one of saying, okay, this is where we're at. Because as the commissioner alluded to, there's 2 City of Tampa seats coming up, this fall. That's only a few months to figure out between the 2 seats, myself and Commissioner Kress, who would be the 1 and who would be the 3. So, if that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes, But I think that there may be something to that, to have this be written into the rewrite of, amendments to the comprehensive plan, that, going forward, now that we have this new comprehensive plan, here's how the seats are staggered among the existing members, and those to be, those terms who are to end. And maybe that's kind of a way to kind of ease our way into it. But again, I'm not trying to save my own seats, so to speak, because I also think that honestly there should be term limits.
Thank you, Commissioner Marino. Commissioner Dowdy, yes.
Yeah, well, I'll speak a little bit of that term limit deal. I actually, early on in my tenure here, made an impassioned argument for term limits myself. And the argument really didn't go anywhere with the members of the board at that time. And I believe the argument was we were appointed by public servants, let them, they have the choice as to if they want to get rid of us or keep us in. But if you want to make an argument about that, I'd be willing to listen. And because I still could agree it would be a good idea if we had term limits as well. I'm not sure that I'm adding that into my motion. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Commissioner Dix, please.
Mr. Robin, I don't even know if we could make that decision. I mean, you opine to that at all?
Tracy's earning his money and getting a workout tonight.
Commissioner, I think that's within the scope of the governing, the appointing body to make that decision.
All right. Thank you.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Dix. Thank you, Mr. Robin. Are there any more comments or discussion from the commissioners? So going back to the motion, we have an amended motion by Commissioner Dowdy to write a letter to the various municipalities in favor of getting the appointees back onto a 2-3 cycle instead of or back onto a cycle that will be determined by hopefully our executive director after a little bit more review with maybe some input from the various commissioners. And a second to that amended request for a letter. Oh, wait, there was another amendment afterwards that Commissioner Dowdy wanted a time limit.
At the earliest.
Right, yeah. So make sure there's a time limit on that, Ms. Zornita, when we want to know some sort of definitive time period. And I need to check now with Commissioner Dix to make sure he's okay with this completely altered motion. Are you still? All right, so we still have the second to this altered motion by Commissioner Dowdy. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this? Yes, Ms. Renita.
Can I ask a question? Would you like this brought back to your August 24th meeting, or do you feel comfortable with my working with Commissioner Joseph on a letter for his signature based on these parameters? I ask because it is nearing the time for these appointments to come up, so.
I personally would be comfortable with Commissioner Joseph and Ms. Zornita.
I was going to say, how about next Monday? I mean, July 19th.
That would be up to Ms. Zornita if that's.
I mean, I think we could probably put something together. It is going to be a long agenda that evening, so, but we could.
I don't think you'll have much resistance on whatever you come up with. I mean, as long as it's.
We'll circulate.
Because the fact is, it's merely a suggestion. I mean, as Tracy would point out, the city can do whatever it wants to do, but, but it's purely a suggestion. And I think it's a good suggestion that we came up with.
I'll put something together, and then if there's any comment on it, we can get it
at the
Monday.
Meeting. Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
All right. So that was discussion. We still need to take a vote on this. So is there any more discussion on this? Nope. Seeing none. Let me check the WebEx. I completely forgot about the WebEx. No one on the WebEx. All right. I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item. Or motion. If the clerk's still with us. Did we lose our? Yay, no?
I'm still here.
Allison, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
We can hear you now, thank you.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Dix,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Handy,
Yes.
Moreno,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right. Are there any more new business items from the commissioners? Not seeing any in the room or any online. I will go to committee reports. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Only report that I'm going to have for today is on the affordable housing. We did have a meeting today. We didn't quite have that quorum today, but it was unfortunate, but I think the lightning parade may have something to do with that. Only thing that two things. The folks from Tyndall Oliver did give the same presentation to the Affordable Housing Board that they gave to us at our last meeting for the density bonus study. I thought that was so good, I had made the suggestion that, they come before the board and give us that, that report, and same great presentation. The other thing that I just wanted to point out, and really for Mr. Rodriguez's information, there was a gentleman who gave a presentation with ship container homes. I don't know if he's come to you all yet or not. He might be on your upcoming agenda, but it's a local architect who's bringing his talents back home and focusing on shipping container affordable housing solutions. And I thought his presentation was awesome. In fact, I really think I'm gonna probably put some of my own money into there, just because I like it that much. And the fact that he also broke down like costs for everything was like the first time I've seen anyone in the presentation do something like that. So I think that it was just really innovative and really thoughtful, and I recommend that, if Marianne or whoever, I think maybe Marianne's actually on leave right now, but if that could get circulated to some other commissioners, you may want to take a look at that, because it was really great.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Are there any more committee reports? Commissioner Rodriguez, you got one?
I was just going to say that we did not have a Affordable Housing Advisory Committee meeting last month due to our lack of quorum, so our next scheduled meeting will be on 21 July.
Thank you.
Tony, did they tell you ahead of time, or you just show up and nobody else shows up?
The staff does try to make sure that there's a quorum. Unfortunately, there's those situations where they don't show up there at the last hour. So
God love you for showing up, Tony.
thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Are there any more committee reports from the commissioners? Not seeing any online. We'll go to our final item, which is meeting adjournment. We will see you all in, what, an hour? What, 6 o'clock? 5:45? An hour, 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock. We're going to call it 6 o'clock. All right. For the public hearings later on. And this meeting is adjourned at 4:57. Thank you all.
Good afternoon, everybody. If anyone is staying for the public hearing, this is the meeting. You can stay on the line and we will check you in a little bit. Thank you.